This has always been here. I think maybe the bin used to go here. So James is going to rip all of this out.
I've got this measuring pole on this.
What do you mean?
I think we need number 2 sleepers.
So you got too much type 1 and not enough sleepers. Classic.
Hi guys, welcome to the Bluestone Villa, our Victorian home, and to our first Victorian house renovation diary of 2022. What the hell is that, I hear you cry? We've not seen one of those for a long time, some of you might be saying as well. Yes, that's right. For a channel that has documented relatively heavily our renovation process, I've not shared a new project or renovation diary in 2022, which actually, that's kind of a slight lie. I think I might have shared 1 or 2 at the very beginning of this year, but I'm not officially counting that because we did actually film all of that footage at the end of 2021, and it documented a project that we were doing at the very end of last year, which was our understairs cupboard kind of glow up renovation makeover thing. I'm also very, very aware that we never actually shared, I'm saying we, I've never shared the end result of that project. That's for very good reason, because we actually haven't finished it, much like many projects in this house. We have got it to a very, very good space, but there are just a few silly little things really, but they're those just kind of nice finessing finishing touches that we haven't done yet, and so I really don't want to share that until we have fully finished it. It is officially on mine and James's list for this end portion of this year. So why haven't we been doing any renovation projects this year or filming any projects this year? A whole host of reasons really. I think obviously like the big overarching one is that genuinely we are 3 years into our renovation, and whilst we still have rooms that are untouched and most of our rooms are also fully like unfinished as well, we are in just a much better space than we were back in 2019 when we first bought this house, and also in 2020 when I first started sharing videos on our renovation. We are living in a situation that whilst it is not perfect, it is way more comfortable. Things are looking more beautiful generally, and so the urgency to get things done has slightly dwindled. On top of that, in 2022 when we kicked off the year, we knew that we were going on holiday at the beginning of March, and so I really didn't want us, and I think James was probably in agreement as well, I really didn't want us to be starting kind of any big projects at the beginning of this year for 2 reasons. Firstly, money. I think we have felt that money is tighter this year for a couple of different reasons. I think obviously one of the most obvious ones being that just generally to live and breathe it is a lot more expensive right now, right? On top of that, I really didn't want us to start a project and be leaving it halfway through to go on holiday, mostly because whenever we do a room in this house, it means that whatever junk is currently stored in that room, plus all of like your materials, or like if you're buying things to dress it and what have you, they all end up everywhere else around the house, and it just is very chaotic, and I didn't want to go on holiday and come back to that. And then when we did go on holiday, I fractured my wrist. It was my right hand, my dominant hand, and even though it wasn't the worst it could be, it did mean that I was out of action of being able to kind of do anything post that holiday for a good kind of 6 to 8 weeks at least. And yeah, as a result, stuff just hasn't happened. But from September onwards, and for this kind of last chunk of the year, we very much are planning to take action. We have a list of a couple of different projects that we want to cover off before the year is out, and as per usual, we will be taking you guys along on the ride with us. So what project are we kicking off with? Well, we are actually kicking off with a driveway project.
Let's take you outside. So this was our handiwork, so that you can see the edge of the border there.
Why are we doing our driveway? So our driveway would have originally been a front garden when this house was built in Victorian times. And if you've not been to the Bluestone Villa before, then just to cover off quickly, we live in a 140-year-old Victorian home. It is a semi-detached, 3-story, 4-bedroom Victorian villa, and we have both a front and back garden. Our front garden though is typically used as a drive, and we probably have one of the bigger kind of front gardens / driveways on our street. However, when we first moved in, the detail said that it could accommodate at least 2 cars, which is absolutely true from a space perspective. But actually, when we first bought the house, whilst definitely a little bit of reconfiguration would mean that it would be able to fit 2 cars, in its current format when we moved in March 2019, that just wasn't possible. So it had these really kind of like big borders that were really overgrown as well, and it had like a little brick wall, I think from memory, that kind of went around the border, and so it just meant that we could only fit 1 car on the drive, and we had 2. In addition to that, based on how our road is configured, we also couldn't park our car out the front of our house. So that first weekend that we moved in March 2019, instead of unpacking our boxes and kind of getting a bit comfortable like most people would do when they move into their new homes, James had us out front digging out these borders and essentially making room to fit the 2nd car on the driveway.
And we obviously got rid of all this. It's still notorious for getting weeds coming up, and then we put these planters out front, which actually don't look very happy right now because they're the end of summer, but they have lavender in usually. Yeah, so it's a bit tatty, but you can see they were quite thick borders. And then this is the entrance, and so then over here, this has always been here. I think maybe the bin used to go here, so James is going to rip all of this out, and we're probably going to try and keep these and see if we can reclaim them for something else. We have recently put this bark down, and then this here is a grapevine from my granddad's garden that we planted, well, my dad propagated last year, and we planted in here last year, and this is south facing, so it's just going gangbusters. And then, as you can see, this is kind of the edge of a border again, and then the string is basically James's line as to where he wants to take this to, so that we'll have a bit of a border here to plant stuff in, but we'll get some extra driveway. But you can see what an absolute mess it is.
So we had tidied it up to an extent. It looked better, kind of, in comparison to kind of all of this overgrowth, but essentially the driveway was tarmacked, but the tarmac is really bad. It's chipped in a lot of places, it's uneven, it's patchy, it's just not been done to a very good standard in general, and then we've obviously dug out all these other bits, and that doesn't look particularly smart either. Fast forward to 2021, last year, and we undertook a major renovation project on the exterior of our house, and if you're interested to see what we did there, I will link that series of videos down below in the description box. But essentially, we have really made the front of our house look amazing, in my humble opinion, and now we have a driveway that doesn't really match in that same way. And I think when we did this last year, we kind of thought maybe we would then go ahead and save the funds to do our driveway properly, perhaps maybe this year. James would really like a resin driveway. That is kind of his dream, but it does not come cheap. And not only do we not have the money to do that this year, or probably not next year either, but also I very reasonably said to James that actually it doesn't make a lot of sense to be making our drive look perfect in that way and spending all of that money when we hopefully intend to do a side extension on our house some way down the line when we can afford it. And I just think it would be such a mistake to spend all that money, get somebody in to do that amazing driveway, and then to possibly ruin it with additional building work.
I reckon it might at least soften it up. James already started trying to dig this out, but it's been so hot here that it's actually kind of impossible. And then this is also our drive here, so you can see where the border starts and then it widens as it goes around. We planted all of these in here apart from this one, which was already here, I think, or we moved this here, I can't remember. But yeah, just really tatty. The weed membrane's coming up, kind of. You can see where there was once a garden wall. It's a shame there's a hose pipe ban.
Yeah, I was just hoping I'd get those bags in, and then I can dig that bit out.
Yeah.
And I can almost backfill it. But then obviously I'm going to end up with dirt. We'll end up with a thing of dirt end of the drive, I think. I'll have to pay something to remove it.
Also, just up here, obviously there's no trellis at the top like there is along some of these bits. And the grapevine, as I said, is just doing amazing. So James is actually going to build a new trellis to go up there. I think that's right, because it kind of looks a bit odd that there isn't anything there. We used to have a tree in front of there. It was kind of pretty scraggly. And obviously we knew one day it was going to come out, because when we do the extension, what we're going to do is obviously extend the kind of driveway and entranceway back here, because this is kind of dead space anyway. So yeah, so we took that out. I think it was last year. Oh, that was it. We also took it out because of doing the front stuff at the house. We wanted to get it gone before we did that, so that must have been early 2021 that we got rid of that. This is day 2. So James has dug this little channel. He's not digging to try and escape the bluestone villa. And he's filled half of it with type 1 over there that you can see, and he's carrying that on all the way up here. And then you're going to get a whacker plate, right? God, you look so hot. Day 2, guys. Day 2.
The only problem is I'm running out of space here, and I've got to move all of this again.
So what is the phase 1 driveway really going to look like and mean for us? So we are planning on digging out the driveway a little bit further, and we are going to put sleepers in to really smarten up the edge, give us a little bit extra room, and also just kind of soften it, make it look more attractive, smarter, cleaner. There's still been a bit of a border at the side there. It's a lot thicker. It's very, very messy because it's just kind of earth and then it's kind of crumbling down. And so what we plan to do is obviously add 2 layers of sleepers in, really smarten that up, really tidy it up, and then with the border that we do have, make that a more kind of defined border that is actually usable and something that we can add kind of foliage, plants, flowers, etc. into it, so that it looks really, really pretty and softens it. Because I think one of the biggest challenges with an old Victorian front garden that becomes a driveway is that it can very much become just kind of a load of kind of grey, flat tarmac or bricks, or I don't know, whatever it is that you're doing, and all of a sudden what would have been a really, really beautiful, pretty front garden becomes quite a harsh, cold front driveway. We got wisteria from James's mum for our engagement, and I also want to add in some things like hydrangea Annabelles. We've got a wonderful grapevine that is sat at the back of that kind of driveway piece. It's actually propagated from my granddad's garden. I think we'll probably add in some extra lavender as well, and we just generally want to make it really, really beautiful. So that will be the whole of the phase 1 process, that side piece.
So James has been out here this morning. We're a week on, but we didn't do anything past Wednesday last week. So he's now whacker plated some of this down. I'm assuming you might have you still got more whacker plating to do?
Yeah,
or
I'll keep doing it. I just thought I'd get that out.
Yeah. And then he's just slotted in some of the sleepers just so we can get a bit of effect of what that will look like, but obviously far tidier. And you can see here we're going to actually double up on these. So that was just to show me what that would look like.
It's funny because I might have got this measuring wrong on this.
What do you mean?
I think I probably need another 2 sleepers.
So you got too much type 1 and not enough sleepers. Classic. Can you do a trade? Is this like now like the 3rd or 4th iteration of this drive? I feel like.
See how it all.
Yeah, slot in. How will you get it to like be straight against the?
Got some brackets.
Fine.
So I'll basically screw the brackets on.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to hammer it in one at a time.
Okay.
I've got one more sleeper, so
Yeah, because we need to do sleepers at the back here as well. So that's why he's saying he's not got enough. Classic.
so I'm going to need maybe 2.
Yeah, I think so. Because you're going to want offcuts at the end there as well, no?
Yeah. I'm not getting many offcuts out of this, am I?
No. You might want to get...
3.
Yeah, just to be on the safe side, and you're just going to have to live with the fact that you're probably going to have a little bit left over.
I'm going to have 3. Yeah.
Wah, wah, wah.
I thought I would interrupt some of this renovation diary to share a couple of new additions here at the Bluestone Villa, because I know that you really like to see kind of what we're buying from a furniture perspective and how we're kind of decorating our home. I've only got a few small updates because, as I said, we haven't been spending huge amounts of money on different bits and pieces just because we haven't really had the funds or the time, or we've just not found the right things. But this we are really, really chuffed with. It's not styled, as you can see. There's barely anything on the top of this. We've only had this a few weeks, but this is our new chest of drawers in our bedroom that we moved into just before Christmas last year. This has actually fit the bill really nicely, even though it wasn't what I was looking for initially. The only thing that I would say about it that I'm not as happy with is just that we were hoping for something a little bit taller. I think I thought it would come up to about here. So it is a bit lower than I'd expected, but I really, really like this. It is also from Mrs. G Interiors, who we got our bedside tables from. I actually think she's changed her brand name now to the Barden Collection. And this was a bit of a sale that she had going on her Instagram. I will add her Instagram handle below, by the way, as well. But essentially, we paid £155 for this and then £10 delivery. It is painted in pigeon by Fur & Ball, and it's really, really beautiful. I actually think it works really nicely, that it's different to other pieces of furniture in this room. And yeah, we're really, really chuffed with it. And I'm planning to kind of style it up and kind of bring some extra height to it with things that I'm going to place on here and style it with. And I'll probably share that in a video kind of coming up soon.
Our other little addition is this, which is our water butt. Thanks for joining us back at the Bluestone Villa for our first renovation diary back in 2022. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm a little bit out of practice on filming these, so apologies if it's not quite what you were expecting, but hopefully I will get back into the swing of things soon. If you do watch my videos regularly and you're not subscribed, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button. I'll be back here every week with some more renovation diaries, home content and seasonal living. I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care guys, bye.